next one. Thermostat was labeled number 2. It's the first floor. So I'm gonna guess it's one of these guys up here. So go see if we can't find which one we're looking for. So it is this guy here. They actually turned it off for me. So that fan motor's awful tight. Said it was blowing hot air. So we'll get in here and see what we got. We'll check our compressor first too, but I'm going to assume with the age of these things that it's probably that condenser fan motor. Contactor looks okay. So let's get a meter out and check the compressor before we do anything. So compressor wires look okay. We do have a manual reset high pressure switch. That's going to be an indication of my problem, I'm assuming. I do have all 3 legs of power. So my compressor's not shorted or anything, nothing's blown a fuse. Let's see if this clicks when we hit it. Yep. So, high pressure switch was tripped. We got some wires that are gonna rub out. We'll do something with those because we're probably going to change this fan motor. Well, there goes the fan. I could hear some bearings there, so I saw it stop pretty quick. We'll check our condenser coil, make sure it's not dirty, and then get an amp draw on that motor. So for right now, I just jumped it out, let it run for a minute. I don't know how well you can hear. But that's bearing noise from that motor. That motor's gonna run for a little while and stop. I can almost guarantee it. My amp clamps down in the truck. The coil doesn't look terrible. And we'll throw our gauges on it as well, and we are gonna take an amp draw, but I just hadn't got there yet. Figured I'd let it run for a minute. It's about 80 degrees in the space, so if it's gonna run, we'll let it run. At least give him some cool air for a minute. This all feels normal. I got a cold suction line, happy with that. Warm liquid line, happy with that. Not happy with those wires hanging there, but we'll clean all that up. The noise kind of changed. So if we look here, condenser fan motor, 1/4 horse, single phase, 1.1 full load. At 1.2, not looking too bad. I'm assuming that's going to continue to rise. We're going to let it run for a little while. See what happens to it. We'll pop some gauges on it. Bearings don't sound good. I think that motor's gonna have to go. I'd hate to leave it because it's gonna overheat again. I would assume that's what happened initially. It's getting hot out. We hit 100 and something yesterday, and we're gonna get close to that today. So we'll continue to monitor that amp draw and throw the gauges on this guy just for shits and giggles, because it's going to be alright on the refrigerant side, but see where we go from there. She's still running. Don't look too bad on our pressures here. We're running, it's R22, so we're about 115 condensing temp. About a 40 degree evaporator at 70 psi, so all that looks alright. Coil might have a little bit of stuff in it, but it's alright. 115 is, you figure 20 over ambient. It's probably 85, 90 out right now. It's warming up, so I'd say we're good there. That motor's going to be my only concern, because you can just hear it. It's still at 1.2 amps, so we're going to keep monitoring it around for a little bit and see what happens. Still 1.24. I don't know how well this is going to come across on video, but you can hear what it sounds like. This is what it should sound like. That little knocking, squealing type deal we got is the bearings in that motor. So the motor's going to go whether I can see it lock up or not. I'd like to see it lock up, but to trip the high pressure switch with my pressures the way they are, it's 90 plus outside right now. I did check that, and that I'm at 230, 240 or something. That's not going to trip my pressure switch. So the only way that pressure switch was going to trip was if that fan motor stopped running. Alright, I missed it. It creeped up to almost 1.3. Ball valve that off. Everything else is closed. Then we're going to open our high side and feed back into the low side slowly, because that was liquid in there, so don't go too fast, but let it take all that liquid that was in there. Charge is going to be alright on this thing. I'm not going to go as far as superheat subcooling this thing. It's a 1999 model, so my amp draw creeping up again. Just for all the young guys out there, don't let this happen to you, because this fan motor will stop. I was hoping I'd catch it, but I'm not going to. I'm not going to sit around and wait for it either. I know this customer. They're going to want to go ahead and take care of it. It's not worth another trip charge and everything else for me to run back out here and tell them they got a bad fan motor. Drop out here soon. On these fittings here, you got caps like this, just a simple snug on those caps will do just fine. If you go over tightening them, it'll bevel out the fitting on the inside, and you make it damn near impossible to get a valve core out and everything else. So you don't want to over tighten these. Stop climbing. It's getting noisier. There she goes. Nope. She hit a nice soft spot. I hope that came through. Got loud and then hit a nice soft spot inside that motor. Son of a bitch. I caught you. She didn't even lock up. She just stopped. And there goes the compressor. Don't run away when you reset a pressure switch like that, because it will happen to you. Run for a couple hours and shut right off. We are a 7 MFD. Leave it to Lennox to do something weird. Capacitor is good. So got this guy unbolted and unwired. pulled out of here, she is steaming hot. And I mean steaming hot. Alright, so biggest thing to remember on these non-OEM motors, plugs. There's a plug in the top and there's a plug in the bottom. Take that out whichever way it mounts. This one mounts like this, and that will allow it to condensate and not build up in the motor. The motor will die without that. So got a fan blade. We're gonna get this motor in here and get it started back up. So we got motor in, fan blade on. When at all possible, don't wire nut these. We get a better connection with the spade terminal that was there. So we're gonna tidy up these wires, get them all wire tied, and we'll start this guy back up. Got our wires in there nicely, not rubbing nothing. Amp clamp ready. It is a 0.75 on that new motor. So we're good at 0.7 amps. 0.75. Sounds a whole lot better. Feels good. So we're gonna go take the jumpers off, turn it on at the thermostat. But we ought to be good from there. So don't let that trip you up. If you just come up here and reset this, you're gonna miss something. You're gonna be back out here replacing the motor. So let me know what y'all think. Leave me a comment, hit that thumb. See you guys on the next one.